Hi, my name is Peter Goldstein, and I've been vegan since about 2016 and vegetarian for about 10 years before that. I was first introduced to being a vegetarian actually at a Tony Robbins event, where at the end of the event he challenged us all to be vegan, alcohol, and tobacco free for 10 days. Well, I immediately took on being vegetarian as part of the challenge. Right away I stopped eating meat and I never missed it. So I guess I'm one of the lucky people who really didn't miss having meat, and I love not having meat. Then about 6 years ago in 2016, when I was introduced to a doctor's work who was recommending a whole food plant-based lifestyle to his patients, I noticed how amazingly his patients were getting better, and so I decided to commit to that also. And actually I have lost 50 pounds, and my triglycerides and cholesterol that used to be off the charts too high have come down to almost normal with absolutely no medications. So I really love being plant-based and vegan, and I would love to see the whole world understand and embrace this. My passion, my work is around helping people, spreading the word about being vegan, showing people how extensive this movement is and how everybody benefits from it. So our personal health as well as animals and the climate. What I've noticed about being vegan is certainly losing all that weight and getting a handle on my blood work, my cholesterol, my triglycerides is really huge. I have always resisted doing medications. I have done as little of meds as possible all my life, and certainly I am celebrating the fact that I don't have to do drugs for so many reasons, all the side effects, with drugs, from my perspective, it's always a slippery slope. We get on drugs and prescription meds, and it just keeps getting more and more. So I'm really grateful that my health is great. At my age, I'd probably be at least 100 pounds heavier than I am now, and on 5 meds, and who knows, maybe not even be alive anymore. That's the thing I've noticed. That's the thing that I really appreciate. I notice how, what a community, how wonderful vegan people are, and supportive, and how compassionate. The compassion in the vegan movement is something that I just really love, and I love that we can take care of ourselves and the planet, and have the compassion for those amazing animals that shouldn't be suffering and giving up their well-being and their lives just so that people can consume them. Well, so my challenges, Jeff, there's probably a couple of them. Well, in my personal life, for the past 3 years, I've had to travel a whole lot. I've had an aunt, 95 years old, in New York City. I'm in Colorado. I've traveled every 5-6 weeks to spend time with her. I have family in Cleveland. I'm in Colorado again, and so all the traveling and having to be with different people, and they certainly weren't eating plant-based, so it's been a real challenge for me in how I'm eating, as well as it's been so exhausting for me. But on the flip side, it's been a challenge, but I have no doubt that if I wasn't plant-based, I wouldn't have been strong enough to do all that I've been going through. Other challenges for me personally, really a big challenge, is my frustration seeing how my friends and loved ones aren't understanding, aren't receptive to trying something else. They're not open-minded. I watch people eating all the wrong foods. I mean, knowing that hot dogs are class 1 carcinogens. I mean, for me, it's such a challenge to watch my kids feed hot dogs to my grandkids, and mac and cheese and milk and all those terrible things. It really breaks my heart to see friends and loved ones suffering. I mean, to see somebody who's diabetic, overweight, who has digestive issues and IBS and a whole list of things, one person or another is suffering from them, yet they just won't try, won't open their minds to the possibility. When I tell them that there's doctors doing all this research, they look at me like I'm talking about some wacko in a cave in the middle of the Pacific. And so it's so challenging. I'm so passionate about finding ways to help friends and loved ones open up their minds, their hearts, and get curious and to an alternative to such a powerful, wonderful medicine, the food that can totally reverse their health and minimize their suffering. Yeah, so what's driving me to stay on this lifestyle is the energy, the health I have. I'm 70 years old and have more energy and more vibrancy and working more and harder than I ever have in my life. And so being able to maintain the energy, be active, to stay off meds and to be able to thrive and it's just fantastic. I really love that. I also love that I am compassionate for animals and not taking their lives, not making them suffer. I mean, it's just mind-boggling to know what happens on these factory farms, how the animals are treated. It's totally heartbreaking for me. And certainly to understand the impact that consuming animal products has on the environment is just unbelievable. To know that all the water it takes to get a pound of meat, or to know that we could stop world hunger just by feeding everybody the grains that we're feeding the animals. To know that the Colorado River is dry by the time it gets to the Gulf of Mexico because all that water is being used to feed livestock. So those are just things that break my heart, and I'm so glad that I'm not participating in. Obviously, it's important for others to be plant-based and vegan because I believe that the same reasons they're important to me. So I believe it's important, first of all, for their own health and suffering, and it's important so that together all of us can have an impact on the climate and have an impact on all the animal suffering. And for me, one of the things that I'm most passionate about is what I call personal power. It's really important. I am very passionate about people choosing for themselves the things that really serve them. And what I'm witnessing is so many people are just brainwashed, and the concepts that we're being fed by the corporations, by all the marketing and advertising is just mind-boggling. So first of all, I would love to see people take charge of their lives and do what serves them, and obviously by the same token it will serve them and serve the planet and serve animals and all living things on earth. Regrets, I guess I don't have regrets about what I'm doing. I'm loving what I'm doing to take care of myself. I'm loving what I'm doing with my work. And my work, I'm looking to find ways to inspire other people. And there's really nothing to regret in my life. And in a way, that's who I am. I really find that everything turns out for the best. And I'm loving my life, and I'm loving what I'm doing and how I'm living it. Great question. Why didn't I go vegan sooner? I didn't go vegan sooner because I just didn't have the information. I didn't have the inspiration. I didn't realize the amazing truth that is behind all this. I didn't realize that, there's probably 100,000 studies that have the evidence of how powerful nutrition and food and plant-based food is for our immune system and for our health. And so I didn't know that. I had no idea, and I suppose maybe most people don't really understand that. And had I known it, I wish I could have gone earlier. And this is just how things are, and I love how things are unfolding in my life. Prior to going vegan, I never thought that I could never go vegan because I never even thought about going vegan. So it wasn't a concept in my mind. So I didn't realize that I couldn't, or I could. Had I realized how important it is and how important it is to me now, I probably would have been able to do it. I had no prejudices before about it. No, I don't worry about specific nutrients. I really believe that if we get a variety, we get all the nutrients. And you know, one of the things I notice is that we have this whole food, plant-based, no added salt, sugar, oil concept, and actually for me, what's not being said is the sixth principle, which is lots of variety. So as long as we take the variety and we get all the nutrients, it's just all there. And I guess we're all part of this ecosystem that Mother Nature created here, and we have this immune system, we have this amazing healing system that can be fed with everything that's around us and to keep us strong and healthy and thriving for long life. And one of my heroes, Dr. Furman, he says, we're designed to live long and die fast. And so just as long as we get all these nutrients, you know, our amazingly, infinitely intelligent bodies and immune system can take care of us and keep us thriving. I don't visit a doctor regularly and often. I feel very healthy. I've had a health challenge that I didn't need to visit a doctor for, and something that for many people would have been a cancerous situation, and for me it wasn't. And I celebrate the fact that my diet has kept me from being cancerous and has kept me strong and healthy. As far as supplements go, I guess my philosophy on that is that, you know, and I do take some, is that, you know, it can't hurt. And as long as I'm not like overdosing and taking way too much, if my body needs something I'm taking, it will take it. Otherwise, I'll just pee it out. Probably my biggest routine is to have steel-cut oats for breakfast. I do that every day, and I've actually seen a study that shows that steel-cut oats are equivalent to statin drugs. So having a regular breakfast of steel-cut oats, all the fiber, that's in the oats, is comparable to having a statin drug. So maybe that's part of what's dropped my cholesterol as it did, but that's something that I do almost every day. And then I try to have some salads, and of course have lots of foods that I enjoy all the time. I love fruits and I love raw vegetables. I really love carrots and celery. Cucumbers are really great. Just a variety. I mean, it's just like it bursts with freshness in my mouth, and I just love eating live, fresh foods. One of my favorite foods actually is beans. I really love beans, and I love that beans have so much fiber, and I love that calorie for calorie, beans have more protein than meat, and that's just so amazing. And yeah, beans are one of my favorite foods. And lentils, and I just, all of that. Oh, that's a great question. How would others get started? There's so many great ways to get started. Watching some of the landmark documentaries, Forks Over Knives, Cowspiracy, watching some of the talks by some of the great doctors. You know, if somebody's concerned about heart disease, to watch Dr. Esselstyn talk about, you know, he claims that somebody who follows his diet is actually heart attack proof within days. So I guess it would depend on what their concerns might be. Certainly somebody's curious and wanting to look for information, nutritionfacts.org is an amazing resource for information. I was surprised actually the other day. Somebody told me that they're concerned about Alzheimer's, and so I went to nutritionfacts.org and found that there's almost 100 different videos and blogs on the concept of Alzheimer's. Looking at resources, we have the great doctors that have been in the movement for decades now. Dr. Campbell and Ornish and McDougall and Furman and Dr. Barnard, and I'm probably forgetting somebody here. They have done amazing work, and they have done all the research. Nutritionfacts.org has all the research available. Resources, community groups, Plant Pure Nation has community pods for people to get together and support each other. It's important to be in a community. It's important to have like-minded people around us. And certainly I need to mention our work, WeDIDIt.Health. And we're building a scoreboard that will, the Million Healthy Lives scoreboard, to show the world that at least 1 million people are benefiting with their health, embracing a plant-based lifestyle. We're building a social network platform where people will be able to interact with each other and see all the resources and information that's available in this movement. Just no way that I would ever eat animals and secretions ever again. I don't need to, and honestly, they have gotten to be a gross concept to me. Frankly, I've listened to the book The Cheese Trap by Dr. Barnard, and there's no way I'd want to have anything to do with milk and cheese products ever again. There's no reason to eat meat, and I never would. Why do people quit veganism sometimes? I'm not sure. I think peer pressure may be the one of the top things. So it's really lonely and hard when most people around us don't follow the same lifestyle, don't understand, aren't compassionate. Sometimes they would ridicule us and mock us. So I suppose that's why some people would not stick with it. You know, I'm not sure what to tell you about it, because I know that most people who are vegan have at some point really understood the compassion, have connected with their own heart and their own compassion to be for the animal suffering, and so many people have experienced health improvements. I think I hear some people say, yeah, I did that for a while, but then my body needed animal protein. And so I hate to hear that, because I immediately think that they didn't really need animal protein, and perhaps they felt that way for some reason. They missed out the opportunity to consult with a nutritionist or a doctor to find other ways to address the challenge that they're feeling, whether they were feeling just more tired or run down or whatever they felt the reason was. But most likely they just weren't committed enough. And you know, the good news is that they've tried it, and the good news is that it'll be so much easier for them to come back at another point, and hopefully I'm sure they will once they refocus on it, and really once more people in the world are plant-based and there's more support. It's just amazing to me how few people really are, and I think that once more people are, it'll be, and it's getting to be more widespread. It's easier to find plant-based foods now, and that is a booming industry at this point, and worth celebrating. The ones that I can think of right now are from Dr. Furman. He has such clever things to say, but the ones that come to mind immediately is, he says the human body is designed to live long and die fast. So I guess his research shows that we should live to be about 100, give or take, and we should pretty much die in our sleep, or suffer less than a week. And it's just amazing that the average American probably suffers for many years with some of these chronic diseases, and don't live their full capabilities and abilities and vigor and enjoyment. Another one of his quotes that I really love is referring to processed bread and processed flours. He says, "The whiter your bread, the sooner you're dead." And I just love that. And I believe he's the one who's also said about oils and sugars and fat is a second on your lips and forever on your hips. What I would really love to do here is to pass along a personal invitation. If you're plant-based, vegan, or into climate change, I really would like to invite you to help us in our mission to find the ways that we can help inspire our friends and loved ones to embrace a different lifestyle, to come along and try being plant-based, vegan, and to do it for their own health. I have had so much frustration trying to inspire my friends, loved ones, people around me to do something that will help them and help the planet and help the animal situation. We've launched this Million Healthy Lives scoreboard. Scoreboard that's driven by a very simple one question, multiple choice question survey that will take you less than a minute to answer. So if you would please come to WeDIDIt.Health and answer the simple questions so we can drive the scoreboard. Imagine being able to show the world that there are over 1 million people who are thriving with much better health, who are protecting the planet by changing their lifestyle. Because I really believe, and I hope you agree, that if we can show the scoreboard to the world, people will pay attention and people will say, wow, you know, I don't have to suffer with type 2 diabetes. Here's somebody who lost 200 pounds and reversed diabetes. And I've seen stories where people have actually been scheduled for bypass surgery and instead they changed their diet and didn't have to get bypass surgery anymore. And not only they didn't have to have surgery, they were healthier and stronger than they could have ever been after surgery. So please join us, WeDIDIt.Health, answer the simple one question survey. Let's show the world that this is real, that this isn't just some wacko doctor in a cave somewhere in the Pacific Ocean making this stuff up. This is real. This is evidence-based, and let's provide the other piece of evidence that's missing. The piece of evidence being that there's lots and lots of people like you and me thriving by just simply changing what we eat and enjoying it and feeling so great. So thank you for that. I look forward for you to be on the scoreboard. It's really simple.